Before this video really begins, I want you to pause for a moment. Not to like, not to check your phone. Just pause and listen. Because if you're still here right now, there is a reason. Somewhere inside you, there is a voice that knows you're capable of more than what you're currently giving. A voice that feels uncomfortable with average, restless with distraction, and tired of starting over. That voice is not wrong. It is awake, and today we are speaking directly to it. Look at your life honestly. Not the version you show people. Not the version you excuses. The real one. How many times have you promised yourself, I'll start tomorrow? How many times have you felt motivated at night and distracted in the morning? You are not alone. Most people live in that loop. They don't fail because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because their attention is stolen every single day. And what's dangerous is that no one warns you when it happens. You don't feel your future slipping away. You just feel busy. Right now, the world is fighting for your focus. Every notification, every scroll, every opinion is competing for your mind. And if you don't consciously choose where your attention goes, it will be chosen for you. This video is not here to entertain you. It is here to wake you up. Because motivation without focus is useless. Dreams without discipline are just fantasies, and potential without action becomes regret. Somewhere in your past, there was a moment when you believed deeply in yourself. You had big thoughts, strong energy, and the courage to imagine a different life. That person is still inside you. They didn't disappear. They were just buried under distractions, comfort, and delay. This is not about blaming yourself. It's about reclaiming control. Because the truth is, no one is coming to save your focus. No one is coming to protect your time. That responsibility belongs to you. If you stay until the last second of this video, you will not just feel inspired. You will understand something most people never do. You will realize why discipline matters more than motivation. Why clarity beats talent. Why the people you admire are not special, just focused. And why the biggest enemy of your future is not failure, but distraction. This is a conversation, not a speech. A mirror, not a lecture. Everything you are about to hear is meant to make you uncomfortable in the right way. Not to break you, but to rebuild you. If you are ready to stop wasting energy on things that don't move your life forward, stay. If you are tired of knowing what to do but not doing it, stay. If you want to become someone who finishes what they start, stay. Because the next few minutes are not about changing your life overnight. They are about changing how you see your time, your focus, and yourself. And once that changes, everything else follows. Distraction is one of the most dangerous enemies of human potential because it never now announces itself as a problem. It does not come wearing the face of failure or defeat. It comes disguised as entertainment, as comfort, as just a small break, as something harmless. That is why it is so powerful. It doesn't attack your dreams directly, it delays them. And delay is far more destructive than destruction. Because when something is destroyed, you know it's gone. But when something is delayed, you keep believing you still have time. And while you believe that, years quietly slip away. Think about how many people around you are talented, intelligent, and full of ideas. They are not lazy, they are not incapable. Yet they are stuck. Not because life defeated them, but because distractions slowly pulled them off their path. 1 hour wasted today feels insignificant. 1 day wasted feels normal. 1 year wasted feels shocking. And a lifetime wasted feels tragic. Distraction works like a slow leak in a tire. You don't notice it at first. You keep moving. But eventually, you stop. Not because you lacked strength, but because you lost focus. The silent danger of distraction is that it gives you the illusion of progress. You scroll, you watch, you consume, you plan, you talk about big goals. Your mind feels busy, so you believe you're moving forward. But busyness is not progress. Activity is not achievement. Many people confuse motion with direction. You can run very fast in the wrong direction and still end up far away from where you are meant to be. Distraction keeps you busy enough to feel productive, but unfocused enough to never build anything meaningful. Another reason distraction is so dangerous is because it slowly weakens your ability to concentrate. Focus is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it becomes weak. When you constantly jump from one thing to another, your mind forgets how to sit with difficulty, how to stay with a problem, how to push through boredom. And success, real success, always demands the ability to stay longer than others when things get uncomfortable. People don't fail because they are not smart enough. They fail because they cannot stay focused long enough to turn effort into results. Distraction also steals something even more valuable than time. It steals self-belief. Every time you promise yourself you will do something important and then choose distraction instead, you send a message to your own mind. My word doesn't matter. Slowly, your confidence erodes. You stop trusting yourself. You stop believing that you can follow through. And once you lose trust in yourself, even simple goals begin to feel heavy. This is why distraction is not just about wasting time. It is about breaking the relationship you have with your own potential. The most painful part is that distraction often feels good in the moment. It offers quick pleasure, instant relief, and easy escape. But the cost comes later, when pleasure is gone and regret remains. Distraction never asks for payment upfront. It always sends the bill in the future. And by the time that bill arrives, it is often too large to ignore. Missed opportunities, unrealized dreams, and the haunting question of what if I had focus begin to appear. That question is one of the heaviest questions a human being can carry. Many people believe that they will focus on later, when conditions are perfect, when motivation is higher, when life is easier. But distraction thrives on this belief. There is no perfect time. There is only now. The habits you practice today are shaping the life you will live tomorrow. If you cannot control your attention now, you will not magically gain control later. Distraction is not a phase, it is a pattern. And patterns only change when decisions change. What makes this even more serious is that the world is designed to distract you. Attention has become a business. Your focus is valuable, and many industries survive by keeping you unfocused. That means if you don't protect your attention, someone else will use it for their benefit. Focus today is not automatic. It is a choice, a difficult one, a daily one, but a necessary one. Because without focus, even the greatest talent becomes average, and even the strongest ambition becomes empty words. Distraction does not ruin lives overnight. It slowly turns dreams into a someday, and someday into never. That is why it is called a silent thief. You don't hear it coming. You don't feel it taking something away. But one day you look back and realize that what was stolen was not time alone, but the best version of yourself. The version that could have been built if attention had been guarded, if focus had been respected, if priorities had been honored. Understanding this is the first step. Once you see distraction for what it truly is, you stop treating it lightly. You stop saying just 5 minutes. You stop underestimating its power. You realize that every moment of focus is a vote for the future you want, and every moment of distraction is a vote against it. Life does not change through one big decision. It changes through small daily choices about where you place your attention. When you learn to protect your focus, you protect your potential. When you protect your potential, you give your future answer. And that is why distraction is not just a bad habit. It is the silent thief of everything you could become. Clarity of purpose is one of the most powerful forces a human being can possess. Because when you are clear about why you exist and what you are working toward, distraction loses its grip on you. Distraction feeds on confusion. It thrives when your goals are vague, when your direction is unclear, and when your reasons are weak. But the moment your purpose becomes sharp, focused, and emotionally meaningful, the noise around you begins to fade. Not because the world becomes quieter, but because your inner voice becomes stronger. When a person lacks clarity, everything feels important, and nothing truly is. You chase multiple things at the same time, jump between ideas, and react to whatever demands your attention in the moment. Your energy gets scattered. You feel busy, exhausted, and unfulfilled. But when your purpose is clear, you develop a natural filter. You begin to ask a simple question before giving your time to anything. Does this move me closer to my goal or pull me away from it? That single question has the power to protect years of your life. Clarity of purpose does not mean life becomes easy. It means life becomes simple. Simple does not mean comfortable, and it does not mean stress-free. It means your priorities are clear. You know what deserves your attention and what does not. Many people mistake clarity for motivation. In goals, purpose stays. When motivation disappears, purpose keeps you moving. It gives you a reason to wake up early when others sleep, to work when others relax, and to stay disciplined when others seek comfort. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with distraction is that they do not have a strong enough why. They want success, but they cannot explain what success truly means to them. They want a better life, but they have not defined what a better looks like. Without definition, your mind becomes vulnerable. Every new opportunity, trend, or opinion feels tempting because you have nothing solid to measure it against. Clarity gives you standards, and standards protect you from wasting time on things that look good but lead nowhere. When your purpose is clear, you stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is a major source of distraction. You see someone else's success and suddenly doubt your own path. You see someone else's lifestyle and feel pressure to copy it. Clarity reminds you that your journey is not meant to look like anyone else. You stop chasing applause and start chasing alignment. You begin to value progress over validation. This shift alone can free your mind from an enormous amount of unnecessary noise. Clarity of purpose also builds emotional strength. When distractions appear in the form of pleasure, comfort, or escape, purpose helps you say no without feeling deprived. You are not avoiding distraction because you are forcing yourself to suffer. You are avoiding it because you have chosen something more meaningful. This is an important difference. Discipline without purpose feels like punishment. Discipline with purpose feels like self-respect. You are no longer fighting yourself. You are working with yourself. Another powerful effect of clarity is that it brings patience. People who are unclear want results quickly because they are unsure whether they are on the right path. People with clarity are willing to wait, learn and grow because they trust their direction. Distraction often enters when progress feels slow. Those few create extraordinary results, not because they are extraordinary people, but because they refuse to confuse movement with progress. Short-term pleasure is one of the most convincing traps in life because it feels harmless, deserved, and even necessary. After all, everyone wants comfort. Everyone wants relief. Everyone wants to enjoy life. The problem is not pleasure itself. The problem is when pleasure becomes a habit of escape rather than a reward for effort. When that happens, short-term comfort quietly begins to steal long-term success, not through force, but through preference. You start choosing what feels good now over what will matter later. And that single pattern shapes your entire future. Short-term pleasure is powerful because it gives instant feedback. You feel good immediately. There's no waiting, no struggle, no uncertainty. Long-term success, on the other hand, demands patience. It asks you to work without immediate results, to sacrifice comfort today for something invisible tomorrow. Human nature naturally leans toward what is immediate. That is why so many people know exactly what they should do, yet consistently choose something else. The battle is not between right and wrong. It is between now and later. Comfort slowly changes your tolerance for effort. When you repeatedly choose ease, your mind begins to resist difficult. Tasks that once felt manageable start to feel heavy. Focus feels exhausting. Discipline feels unfair. Over time, your threshold for discomfort drops and your ability to push through challenges weakens. This is dangerous because every meaningful achievement in life requires the ability to stay with discomfort longer than others. Success is rarely about talent alone. It is about endurance, consistency, and the willingness to delay gratification. One of the most deceptive aspects of short-term pleasure is that it often disguises itself as self-care. Rest is important. Enjoyment is important. But there's a difference between intentional rest and unconscious escape. True rest restores you so you can return stronger. Escape distracts you so you can avoid what matters. When pleasure becomes your default response to stress, boredom, or fear, it stops being restorative and starts becoming destructive. You are no longer resting to grow, you are resting to avoid growth. Short-term pleasure also affects how you see time. It shrinks your future. When your focus is always on feeling good today, tomorrow becomes less real. Long-term consequences feel distant and abstract, while immediate comfort feels concrete and urgent. This is why people trade hours for minutes of pleasure, days for moments of relief, and years for habits they cannot control. They are not choosing failure consciously. Another hidden cost of short-term pleasure is regret. Pleasure fades quickly, but regret lingers. The moment passes, the distraction ends and reality returns. What remains is the awareness that you once again chose what was easy over what was necessary. Over time, these moments pile up. They form a pattern, and that pattern shapes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who follows through. You begin to expect less from yourself. This quiet loss of self-respect is one of the heaviest prices comfort demands. Long-term success requires a different relationship with pleasure. It requires you to earn it, not escape into it. People who achieve meaningful things do not deny themselves joy. They simply delay it. They understand that pleasure feels better when it follows effort. Rest feels deeper when it follows discipline. Celebration feels richer when it follows struggle. When you reverse this order and place pleasure before effort, it loses its value and begins to control you instead of serving you. There's also a psychological shift that happens when you consistently choose long-term benefits over short-term comfort. You build trust with yourself. Every time you resist distraction and stay committed to what matters, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of discipline. This belief becomes a source of confidence. You no longer rely on motivation or mood. You rely on identity. You see yourself as someone who does what needs to be done, even when it is uncomfortable. That identity is far more powerful than temporary pleasure. Short-term pleasure often promises freedom, but it delivers dependence. Long-term effort often feels restrictive, but it leads to real freedom. The freedom to choose your time, the freedom to control your direction, the freedom to live without constant regret. This is the great irony most people realize too late. What feels like sacrifice early on becomes strength later. What feels like enjoyment early on often becomes limitation later. It is important to understand that avoiding short-term pleasure does not mean living a joyless life. It means choosing higher quality pleasure over cheap pleasure. It means investing your energy into things that will reward you repeatedly instead of things that consume you once and leave nothing behind. There is a deep satisfaction that comes from progress, from mastery, from knowing you are becoming better than you were yesterday. That satisfaction lasts longer than any momentary distraction ever could. Every day, you are making a choice, whether you are aware of it or not. You are choosing between the comfort of now and the reward of later. These choices may seem small, almost insignificant, but small choices repeated daily shape habits. Habits shape character, and character shapes destiny. Long-term success is not built through dramatic decisions. It is built through quiet moments where you choose discipline over comfort when no one is watching. In the end, short-term pleasure does not steal long-term success all at once. It takes it slowly, moment by moment, choice by choice. But the opposite is also true. Every time you resist the urge for immediate comfort and stay focused on what truly matters, you reclaim a piece of your future. And when enough of those moments come together, they create a life that no temporary pleasure could ever replace. Discipline is often misunderstood as punishment, restriction, or a harsh set of rules forced upon oneself. In reality, discipline is none of the most important choices you make in life. Because it is not about denying yourself happiness, but about choosing what matters most again and again, especially when no one is watching. Discipline is the quiet force that shapes character, builds integrity, and turns intentions into reality. It is not loud, dramatic, or glamorous, but it is reliable. And reliability is what success is built on. Every person has moments of motivation. Motivation comes from inspiration, emotion, and excitement. But motivation is temporary. It fades when things get difficult, boring, or uncomfortable. Discipline is what remains when motivation disappears. It is the decision to act according to your values rather than your feelings. Feelings change every day. Values do not. When you act based on values, you create consistency. And consistency is far more powerful than intensity. Choosing what matters most requires clarity. If you do not know your priorities, you cannot be disciplined. You will be pulled in different directions by moods, distractions, and external pressure. Discipline is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things consistently. This means you must be willing to disappoint people, delay pleasure, and let go of distraction. Not because you are weak, but because you are committed to something bigger than momentary comfort. One of the most important aspects of discipline is what you do when no one is watching. Before this video ends, I want you to understand one simple truth. Nothing changes unless you decide to protect your focus. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Every powerful transformation begins with a quiet decision that no one else can see. A decision to stop giving your best energy to things that don't build your future. A decision to take your attention back from distractions that have been stealing your days and turning them into nothing more than memories of wasted time. You don't need a perfect plan after this video. You don't need sudden motivation or a dramatic breakthrough. What you need is awareness. Awareness that every moment you are distracted, you are choosing a version of your future. And every moment you are focused, you are choosing another. Life is not shaped by one big moment. It is shaped by thousands of small choices, repeated when no one is watching. That is where real change happens. If you remember anything from this message, remember this. Discipline is not about forcing yourself to suffer. It is about respecting your potential. It is about choosing what matters most over what feels good right now. You already know what you need to do. The problem has never been knowledge. The problem has been consistency. And consistency begins the moment you stop negotiating with distraction. When this video ends, the world will try to pull you back into old habits. Your phone will be there. Comfort will be there. Excuses will be there. But now so is clarity. You cannot unsee what you understand. You cannot unknow that your future depends on how you use your attention today. And once you accept that responsibility, something powerful happens. You stop waiting for permission. Stop blaming circumstances. You start acting with intention. You are not behind in life. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are simply unfocused. And focus is a skill that can be rebuilt one decision at a time. You don't need to become perfect. You just need to become slightly more disciplined than yesterday. That small difference, repeated daily, will separate you from the crowd more than talent ever could. Let this be the moment you stop drifting and start directing your life. Let this be the moment you choose progress over pleasure, purpose over noise, and discipline over delay. The people who win in life are not the ones who never struggle. They are the ones who refuse to stay distracted. If this message stayed with you until now, it means something inside you is ready to focus, ready to commit, ready to become someone who finishes what they start. Don't let this feeling fade into another forgotten video. Turn it into action. Protect your attention, guard your time, and build a future that your present self will be proud of. This is not the end of the speech. This is the beginning of your responsibility.